What up, everybody? In BMF Season 2, Episode 3, we have Southwest T finding out that Markisha is being physically abused by her husband, Boom. And this was one of my Season 2 predictions. And I said when Terry finds this out, it will be a turning point for T and his relationship with Markisha. So how does he find this out? T sees Markisha's car in the parking lot very late at night, thinking she is working the late shift. He had just got done attacking the man from the first class car service and jumping him with Meech for deflating his tires and causing the cars to be crashed and their sister Nicole to suffer an injury. So when he gets there, she is walking out, but Markisha attempts to avoid eye contact with T. She keeps her head down because she is embarrassed of what has happened to her. But nonetheless, T noticed that she has a terrible black eye, and he tells Markisha that Boom, that crazy, is gonna pay for this. But Markisha tells T no, that Boom is still her husband and the father of her child. Right after that, we see T and Markisha having their first kiss, followed by Markisha jumping in her car and driving off. But T definitely was considering this. He'd been pursuing Markisha for a while now. Prior to this, we saw T and Markisha go out to dine at a fancy restaurant, and Markisha introduces T to calamari. And during this lunch date, Markisha admitted to T that she is not currently happy. She does not have time to think about being happy because she is too busy trying to make sure the people around her are. So she had to be talking specifically about Boom. So I'm thinking Boom must terrorize this woman. We know he abuses her, probably threatens her, and has her walking on pins and needles while around him. So we see Markisha introducing T to fine dining in this episode. And this is definitely a sign of things to come because Meech and T's childhood friend Roland in the BMF documentary did mention how Meech, how we all know, loved partying, drinking, going to clubs, different things like that. While T was not into drinking and partying, going to clubs, but T was into fine dining. So we see him being introduced to fine dining by Markisha. So he probably got it from her, and he probably continued to do it as their relationship grows, as a way to make her happy and give her some of the things she loves and enjoys, as Boom would not. As for Boom, we met his character briefly for the first time in Season 1, Episode 1 at Pat's party. Boom was in the back partying with Pat, and Pat tells Boom that Meech and Terry are the biggest earners in his stable. At this time, we see Boom drinking on a bottle of champagne, and he introduces Meech and Terry to his wife, Markisha. Now also keep in mind that Pat is a crackhead. We didn't know this at the time in episode 1 of season 1, but we found out later on in the season that Pat is indeed a crackhead. I don't think that Boom is a crackhead, but it's an outside possibility that he might be. He also might be playing with his nose, as a lot of dealers did back in those days. And it would explain how he kind of loses control of himself sometimes and ends up beating on his wife. The second meeting we saw with Boom was at the end of Season 1 in Episode 8. At this point, the 50 boys are no longer dealing with Pat. Their connect is Big L, but things are hot in the area. Police are all over the place. So they make the move to start selling their product over on the east side, to purposely take over someone's area so they can meet the boss, because they don't know who the boss of the east side is at this time. But their plan is, Meech's plan is to offer that person a better price and a purer weight. So Meech meets a guy named Saint, and he tells this guy Saint to take him to his boss. So later on in that episode, we saw Meech and T both go into a gambling spot to meet up with Saint's boss. And who is his boss? None other than Boom. So we know that Boom is the main person in charge over the drug supply over the east side of Detroit. While at that gambling spot, we definitely see Boom having another woman all over him named Tracy. So on top of beating Markisha, it's most likely that he's not faithful to her either in their marriage. But Boom remembered Meech and T from Pat's party, and he embraced them. And then Meech offers to partner with Boom, like I said, offering him to make more money, lower price at a better weight. But Boom laughs in Meech's face, and he tells Meech, "Does it look like I need more business?" Keep in mind that Boom is running a large crew and probably moving a lot of weight. That gets me to the question, why is his wife Markisha working like a dog on commission at the insurance company? You would think a big time player like that would have his wife sitting up somewhere, something like we saw in Power with Tasha St. Patrick, or kind of like how Peaches, we don't see her working a job as far as I know. That's K9's girlfriend, but we don't see her working a job as far as I know. So why is Markisha working around the clock for commission at this insurance company? It's obvious Boom is not taking care of her, and this could just be another sign that either though Boom is moving a lot of weight, could he have a drug addiction? Like, could he be a crackhead like Pat, that all his profit is going to his addiction and also trying to keep up that front that he's balling like that in front of all his people? So that gets me into, when will T make a move on Boom? Because I'm guarantee you it's coming at some point. We might even see Markisha getting beat up again by Boom. Possibly T sees this, and that might be when he loses it and attacks Boom. I'm not for sure, but we definitely see T stomping out someone in the original trailer, and this wasn't the guy from the First Class Car Service who we saw T and Meech stomping out last episode, because the person they were stomping out in the original trailer, this was in broad daylight, and I don't think they were dressed in all black, so it looked like something that happened in the spur of the moment. So it could definitely be that T sees Boom laying his hands on Markisha in broad daylight or something, maybe him pushing her around in broad daylight, and goes to confront him, and then Meech jumps in also and starts kicking him as well. We also see a scene from the original trailer when T is riding in looks like a Jeep or something, riding around with a tech in his hand. Could he possibly be looking for Boom? Because Boom is a leader of a large crew, so it's not going to be easy for him to just get at Boom, especially without any kind of retaliation from Boom's crew. So T's definitely going to have to be methodical on how he plans to attack Boom if he doesn't want any repercussions coming back at him and his family. However, we probably won't see this beef playing out in episode 4 because the storyline will be more focused around Meech being shot. But moving forward, expect to definitely see a beef between T and Boom develop. And finally, keep in mind that there is currently a drought going on in our current timeline in the BMF series. This could create strange connections because people don't have their weight and they are desperate. They have lifestyles to manage. So we could possibly be seeing Boom turning to Meech to see if he still has that supply. We could see Meech, since K9 said get back to him in a couple weeks, could Meech turn to Boom to see if he has any weight? Because every day in the drug game, you don't have weight, that's a day where your customers are looking for someone else to get their fix from. And that's a day, every day where you don't have that money coming in to your particular pocket. These people, like I said, have lifestyles to manage, and you have to understand in the drug game the difference between your profit that you make and your re-up. Because you might hear someone say, "Oh, I make $10,000 a day," for example. Just for example, I made $10,000 a day selling drugs. But how much of that is actually your profit versus your actual re-up? For example, let's just take 1 kilo of cocaine. And let's just say I buy that kilo of cocaine for $25,000. Now I'm going to take that 1 kilo and break it down to ounces. So that gets me 36 ounces. And just for simple math purposes, I'm going to sell it at $1,000 an ounce. So after I sell all 36 ounces, my profit, my total I made would be 36,000. But my actual profit would only be 11,000. So I could say, yeah, I say it took me 1 week to sell that kilo. I could easily say I make $36,000 a week selling cocaine. But my actual profit is only 11,000. I say only because that's still a lot of money, but you see the difference here. And say someone enduring droughts, money dries up quick, people get robbed. So things dry up quick and people get really desperate, like T was saying at the beginning of the last episode. Things get hectic during the drought. It's definitely no time to be in the streets, definitely no time to be in the drug game. Because you could be trying to re-up, just like we saw Meech last episode, desperate for a re-up, trying to get with B. Mickey's guy. That could have not been Thomas Bryant trying to set up Meech up to get arrested. That could have been someone who's trying to set B. Mickey, who B. Mickey don't even knows he's being set up. That could have been someone simply trying to take Meech and B. Mickey's re-up money, whatever they're trying to bring to him. That could have been someone who's desperate trying to come up because he don't have no weight to support his lifestyle. So we definitely could see some strange connections being made in the next couple episodes during this drought, which could actually even add fuel to the fire between the T and Boom beef, which we don't even see going on yet because it's still developing, I guess you would say, underground, under the surface. But it's about to come to surface at some point. We just need something to actually bring it up. And there you have it. T finding out Boom is beating on his wife Markisha, and how this gonna play out moving forward. Leave your thoughts in the comments.